order the Montgomery County Legislators special meeting. And could I have called to order? Roll call, I mean, sorry.
Chairman Biniak.
Here.
Legislator Duchessi.
Here.
Legislator Wheeler.
Here.
Legislator Isabel.
Here.
Legislator Patel.
Here.
Legislator Kelly. Legislator Quackenbush.
Present.
Legislator Diamond.
Here.
Legislator Whites.
Present.
Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a presentation tonight by our county executive for the state of the county, Matthew L. Ossenfort.
This is only the fourth time I've done this so far.
Let me see here. But we're going to buzz through this real quick. If anybody has any questions, we can entertain that at a later point. Is it just this over button right here? Let me see. There we go. Okay, so at each state of the county, we focus on these 5 principles that we set out at the beginning of the term. And we're going to be going through these each one. Basically what I do every time is talk about things we've done, things that we'd like to do in the future, and that way it's a way to, for me personally, to stay focused on the goals that we laid out in the beginning of the term. The first issue, obviously everyone is very familiar with this. We took a big hit in sales tax. We have the tax cap is at 0.5% for next year. Thankfully, and a special thank you to Sean Bowerman, who recommended a conservative estimate for sales tax. We came in actually over budget for sales tax, even with that big hit. So that was the silver lining, I guess. But that's something that we're going to have to, certainly is going to be with the price of fuel, as you see here. Most of the increase, or the decrease that we saw was related to the price of fuel. So we're going to have to be mindful of that moving forward. There'll be a lot more on this in the executive budget speech, but as you can see here, we're always about steady at about 5.7, 5.8 million for taxes related to the sale of fuel. We're at 3.8 million this past year. So it's going to be a big deal as we move forward. I focused a lot on economic development in the regional business plan. But before we got into the details of the regional business plan, which is our roadmap for economic development, talked a little bit about the Montgomery County Business Development Center. I'm sure many of you in this room are very familiar with the Mohawk Valley Regional Economic Development team that we have. These were some of the, just kind of for those that aren't that familiar, went through what the process is, the fact that we outperformed other counties based on the population within our county. We got about 19% of the 6-county region as far as dollars go, which is, we're not at 19% as far as the population. So I use that as a benchmark to see if we're getting our quote fair share. Here were some of the big items from last year. Obviously the Global Village at FMCC is a big one at $3.5 million. But all these up there are things you are familiar with. I'm taking a 45-minute speech into 15 minutes, so bear with me here. But if you want me to stop and talk about any of this more, I'd be more happy to. We just gave a follow-up on the CDBG grant related to Amsterdam Print. That has been fully executed and has been completed. That was a good one. We have secured a $35,000 grant for the County Ag and Farmland Protection Plan update. The Culinary Incubator, which many of you are familiar with, the Rama Real Properties and Home Helpers loan, IDA, that was keeping 128 employees in the county, yes?
I'm not.
Which one?
Well, you're going so fast, I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
No problem. We received $35,000 to update the County Ag and Farmland Protection Plan. You're going to have a resolution before you to bring on a person to do that. The grant was funded by grant dollars, as well as Paul Tonko reached out to us regarding a culinary incubator feasibility study for the south side of Amsterdam. We followed through on that and received that grant.
Okay.
And RFP will be going out for that shortly.
Okay.
The Rama Real Properties and Home Helpers, that was the project that was first slated for Market Street, now is moving forward at the old YMCA in Hageman. as well as we received a $10,000 grant for a historical resource survey. That was kudos to Kelly Farquhar. So we've been, trying to do what we can to bring in state and federal dollars. I think the Economic Development Center has been doing a good job. These particular items here, I think really explain or give you a sense of how big of an impact the Business Development Center has had on the county. Those who have contractual relationships, loans, pilots, and bonds with the Business Development Center employ more than 2,300 individuals in the county, have a combined payroll in excess of $183 million, generate more than $6 million in property tax and pilot payments, and account for more than $444 million in capital investment. So those are big numbers. They've certainly been busy over the past, not even just 2 years that I've been here, but it will be before that. So just kind of get some information out there. This speech was really economic development heavy. And then as now we move through I believe 5 goals of or 6 goals of the regional business plan. The first one, educating and training the region's workforce. A couple of things of note that are very exciting that have happened in Montgomery County. We have what we think is the first in the nation as far as an Ag P-Tech program. It's launching 50 students this fall. HFM BOCES and Canajoharie were awarded a 7-year grant to establish early college program in high school focused on ag and agribusiness. Very exciting stuff. They're partnering with SUNY Cobleskill. They can earn both high school diploma as well as an associate's degree and some college credits. This is will be located at the D.H. Robbins School in the Oppenheimer-Freda, St. Johnsville district. So that's very exciting stuff. One of the things that we've seen, especially in the last meeting of the CEO Roundtable, is trying to do more to train the folks that are here for the jobs that are currently available. There's a lot of openings that businesses are having some difficulty filling, and so as we, in a broader sense, transition away from 4-year degrees where you're pumping out liberal arts degrees and students with a lot of debt, that associate's degree, that training in high school, the vocational programs are incredibly important in trying to match the jobs that are here with the education that we provide both in high school and in our community college. Big reason why supporting FMCC is so important over the next decade or so. And just another kudos while we were talking about Canajoharie, they are the first upstate school district to participate in the state's CASE solar program, which involves 2 solar fields that will be installed at the high school, provide about 96% of the total electric needs. And it's a fantastic program. Debbie Grimshaw, the superintendent at that district, is very progressive, very forward-thinking, and you're seeing real results because of that. And I'm very, very proud of them. As we talked about with FMCC, big thank you to the legislature. In 15, we funded a $250,000 for FMCC's capital project as a sponsoring county. I believe that is then matched by Fulton County and then again matched by state dollars. So, we're doing what we can to invest in FMCC, and that's certainly a good thing, as well as, the county wrote the grant and has provided professional support for the Global Village project from beginning to now, and we will continue to do that. So, very proud and happy with that good work that's being done. The next goal, develop large and small shovel-ready sites. The Regional Business Park is obviously a big one. We've reached what we call a landmark 50-50 revenue sharing deal. We should be getting an answer on lead agency very shortly. Essentially, this is trying to create opportunities for residents and future high school and college graduates to allow them to stay in the area and increase our tax base. Not just at the county, but if you look at the industrial park up there right now, they are responsible for 20% of the real property tax levy for the Fonda-Fultonville School District, which is on paper the best school district in Montgomery County as far as the rankings go. If that 20% wasn't there, you would have you'd probably be looking at layoffs and additional cuts beyond what we've seen at Fonda-Fultonville. So it's obviously not the end-all save-all, but it's a big piece of what we need to do to be successful. The Exit 29 redevelopment site, we've talked about this in great deal. We have our second meeting tomorrow with the team. We obviously in the first phase 1, which is a very tentative phase 1, We identified a $5 to $10 million estimate for demolition and remediation. The phase 2 is going to be going out for RFP. We have it pretty much finished. We're going to talk about it in the group tomorrow. And that'll give us a much more specific idea of the contamination on the site and subsequently the cost to remediate and demolish. Again, we recognize that we're not going to be able to do this on our own. Financial assistance will be required from the state and federal government. We've already begun the discussions with DEC and the EPA. We're confident that we will be able to secure some dollars from EPA. We have a grant in that we should hear about within a couple months. If that grant we do not get that grant from the EPA, we have some other pots of money we are going to focus on. But either way, moving forward with a phase 2 is critical. That way, we don't go into a foreclosure proceeding with any unknowns. We really need to have our ducks in a row as far as understanding what our liability is there before any foreclosures happen. Megan is working on a temporary order to give us access to the site for phase 2, which is very important. And we've also applied for some outside grants that we're hopefully going to hear some good news here, hoping next week actually. The last button here is obviously we're pursuing. At this time we're pursuing leads at the Fort Elizabeth Business Park, because I couldn't talk about it, but we do have a company very interested in the Florida Business Park extension, and we have to push the ball over the goal line with the local and state permitting process. That's where we are right now. It's not a done deal. We need to work through some issues, but I'm hopeful and confident that we'll be able to get that done. So you have three sites right there. The Exit 29 site. I've also spoken, and Ken has here with some folks at in the Albany Nano World. They actually feel that would be an ideal site to look to some of these runoff businesses with the technology, I guess, revolution you could say that's going on in upstate New York. So we got 3 sites, making progress on all of them. These are long-term issues. These aren't things that get solved or move forward on in just a couple of months. So yeah, progress happening there. Obviously, marketing the region is a big part of the regional business plan. We are both doing it internally and also externally with the Business Development Center marketing to businesses. For those of you who haven't seen this video yet, I believe you'll believe it's a real treat. I think you did a fantastic job. You'll see a cameo from Mr. Swanger in this video. But it really, and I've been going around to the high schools. I've been to Fondant, Canajoharie. I'll be in Amsterdam and Fort Plain in the very near future. Trying to get stories from the students in the schools about what makes the community in their school made of something stronger, so we can put together a video like you're going to see, focused more on community pride, recreation, and quality of life. But I believe that if I hit this slide, you're going to see the video, and hopefully we'll have some value.
The benefits of doing business in Montgomery County, we see a lot with the New York State Thruway right here, the access to the corridor, to the Capital District and beyond.
I think it's an affordable area for businesses. I think there's a workforce that's available in the area.
Well, in Montgomery County, we've been able to, first of all, find great team members, great assets to our organization to build a target team. And that's our primary concern, is to have a great team to build and service our guests throughout the United States, mostly in the Northeast.
What you'll find is fantastic natural beauty. You'll find a community that's easy to traverse. You'll find a community that really is a community. These cities and small towns that we live in, we have our own radio stations. We have our own daily newspapers. It truly is a community. We're part of the capital region, and yet we're different. And I love that difference.
We wanted to stay in Montgomery County because we've got a long and rich heritage here. We've got our employees, their families, we've got a very talented workforce that we wanted to maintain and lead. And we really like the area for its proximity to farms and agriculture. We also like the area for its proximity to a lot of the Northeast. My father was born and raised in Amsterdam, so when he started the ski shop, they started right here in town. Back when we knew we needed to expand, we wanted to move to an interstate, especially for our RV business. At the end of the day, we decided that we wanted to stay right here at home in Montgomery County because of the access, being on the thruway, and just the support we got of economic development and the county in general.
Target chose this location just because of the great assets that surround this area and the entire capital region. Montgomery County, as well as the surrounding area, is full of very talented team members that are prideful of Target, and we found a home here.
I think Montgomery County has a lot to offer, particularly for families, because there's a great outdoor life all year long, because there's some really fine family restaurants, and because it's a friendly environment that I think people enjoy.
The Amsterdam Mohawks, they're a great summer attraction. The history here, particularly the colonial history, is virtually unparalleled. Access to the Adirondack Park, hundreds of lakes, and we have various venues down on the river. So it's got something for everybody.
Beechnut is made of something stronger because of our people. It's the great talented workforce we have that has enabled us to produce the best baby food in the world. What makes Alpen House made of something stronger? When I think of that, we're in the discretionary products. We sell things that people don't necessarily need and they want a vacation with. And so we've survived for 51 years. We all at Alpen House, we're resilient. We keep digging in, we find a way to get through. And here we are still growing and being successful 51 years later.
What makes Target made of something stronger in Montgomery County is our team members. We are built on the fantastic ability of our team members to adapt and change to an environment that continuously adapts and changes, which is our business. They've been key partners to our success, and we continue to be able to hire and flourish in this area because we are made of something stronger in this area.
Fulton Montgomery Community College,
Beechnut, Target, Alpen House,
St. Mary's
is made of something stronger, stronger,
stronger, stronger,
stronger.
As you can see, we're trying to put certainly this specific to businesses, but a very positive message out there that capitalizes our strengths and puts our best foot forward. And we're going to try to continue to do that, in areas outside of just focusing on businesses, but also young people. One thing we're finding is, a lot of kids go away for school, but when people are interested in coming back to the area, oftentimes it's when they start to have children and are looking to settle down in a safe place, and that's something we're going to be focusing on in the future. But very, very proud of that video. I think they did a great job, and marketing the region is obviously, again, none of these individually is an end-all, save-all, but together they can help us make a real difference moving forward. Again, as you guys are well aware of, we renewed our relationship with the county tourism program, and these were some of the goals that have been outlined for this year, from strategic planning to a better promotion of attractions and events, meeting more with local organizations, focusing on promoting agriculture, and then participating in the Mohawk Valley Path through history. So, I think we're hitting this goal pretty well. Improving the region's quality of life. This is probably one of the things I'm most proud of. Is this year, thanks to our senator, we were able to secure funding for a county-wide bike trail restoration project. Got an additional $300,000 this year, and on top of another $200,000 that we already had. We're going to be able to resurface or add pavement to the areas that are unpaved and resurface those that are already paved. And I think that is one of our best recreational assets, and is certainly a big step forward. St. Johnsville, after waiting for a few years, got their $75,000 for the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Park down on the river. The senator was very helpful in that as well. Promoting, along the river, canal-related projects, as well as Main Street, downtown-type projects are a priority throughout the county. Again, in Fultonville and Fonda, you've had some improvements there, almost about $100,000 for Canalway improvements, as well as another tremendous asset of ours, the over 400 miles of snowmobile trails. The Business Development Center secured $64,000 for maintenance of those trails. So we're again, plugging away at this goal as well. 5, this is a tough one, extending utilities and broadband throughout the region. One of the major issues is broadband, and certainly for the town of Charleston, some areas of the town of Amsterdam. You know, it's not just an issue of luxury, it's an issue of necessity. At this point, especially when you look at students in high school, are at a competitive disadvantage to their classmates who do have broadband and can work it on the internet at their home at night, and yet other students cannot. And I've heard stories from some people of students sitting in cars outside of fire departments to pick up internet to do homework, and that's just in this day and age, that's a shame. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be subsidized by likely the state government, because if the private sector could be making money on it, it would have happened already, but unfortunately that's not the case. The governor has set aside capital funds for bank settlements to incentivize the private sector to expand high-speed broadband. So hopefully that'll go through this year. A broadband survey is being administered to identify areas of need across the state. So our Economic Development Office is going to participate in this and help however way we can. But again, you're talking big dollars from the state in order to incentivize and, or frankly, subsidize the private sector to get that done. There we go. Yeah. I always put this one up there because I think every time we get into budget time, we really need to keep in mind that we want tax stabilization. Just going back to 2000, you see wild ups and downs in our tax rate. You know, obviously, you know, given our financial circumstances and costs going up and a tax cap at 0.5%, you know, stabilization is the goal moving forward. We'd love to be in a place where we can realistically lower property taxes, but unfortunately, with mandates and rising costs, it's going to be very difficult. But I think the goal right now is to just hold the line. Something that we've all been working on together, investing in critical infrastructure and public safety projects. When you stop and think about it, we've gotten a lot done. You know, the public safety expansion project should be completed this summer. We began the old courthouse condition assessment, as well as the county office building condition assessment. Those should be done by October 1st, and we will all be participating in that. We have some meetings that are starting, I believe, this week. But the vendors have been engaged and have begun work, so that's a good thing. And as they are completed, we'll be including them in our 17 capital plan and obviously discussing funding with the legislature. Roads and bridges, just to give everyone an update on where we're going to be. 26 calendar year to maintain the roads throughout the county. We're going to thankfully complete Midline Road by July 1st. You know, as you see here, we got 7.7 miles of paving in the 15 road program to be completed in the towns of Florida and Mohawk. 30.25 miles for the 2016 program. We're going to be completed in Canajoharie and Minden. 36 miles of preventative maintenance in Florida, Glen, and Mohawk. And then we're going to start preparing for 35 miles of work in 2017 in Canajoharie and Minden. Again, Canalway Trail, that is something else that we're going to have our guys working on in partnership with some of the towns in the county. And last night they were very happy to hear at the town of Glen that we will be resurfacing the Glen Park Road and fulfilling our agreement to do that with them. The capital plan, I mean, when you stop and think about it, we've done quite a bit. You know, we have, the county legislature has adopted a capital plan that reflects almost $5 million in capital improvements. Everything from the roof replacement up at the public safety facility. This year we have about $1.7 million in bridge rehabilitation. Those are the two in Canajoharie. DPW equipment, we have a 15-year-old grade all and 2 dump trucks that are 17 and 18 years old respectively, is $630,000 right there. As well as the mandated e-prescribe system up at the Sheriff's Department, which is another $230,000. And as Jeff Smith has been cranking away diligently on the radio program, Joe, you'll be happy to know, we've secured the frequencies for the system. We've met with firefighters in every district. There's engineering that's been done by Motorola. We have a few more steps, but everything is online for an October 16 launch, which is hopefully going to reduce response times and hopefully help save life and property. Again, we've talked in depth about the Government Efficiency and Shared Services Plan that was put together. I'm not going to go through every little bit of this, but you know, we did submit our plan. It was accepted. The residents should have gotten their property tax freeze checks. We're right now, and you're going to see a resolution before you next month for consideration regarding the 4 municipality records management intermunicipal agreement, which is hopefully going to help save quite a bit of money and time and space in the long run. You know, providing workshops to local municipalities, but there's a lot that was very difficult to fit into this slide. Those are just some of the highlights. Becoming more efficient, obviously the Smart Watt initiative was a big part of that. You've heard a number of presentations on that, so I'm not going to go into that in any great detail, but you know, what the best summary I can say of this is by doing these upgrades, we're looking at reducing electricity by 24%, natural gas by 23%, and water by 25%. So that was something that I believe was a long time coming, and very happy that we got that done. I know Megan has been working on some of the financing and some of that stuff. Organizational improvements. Jen, who received the first peer recognition award, we're in our 2nd year of the peer recognition award. You know, it's not just about, you know, having consistency and easy access to policies and expectations for employees, so we can hold them accountable, but it's also supporting those that really go above and beyond. And the peer recognition program is one thing that we've instituted that I think makes a big difference for the employees. At least it's a start, that's for sure. One of the goals that we've set out internally has been strengthening client partner relationships. Some of the highlights here that have come out of this, we've continued participation, actually increased participation with our department heads and our staff and community groups, try to be responsive to new and emerging needs, working closely with our neighbors in Fulton County to leverage regional assets, obviously very important. The social services satellite office, that was a big one, with over 70% of the clients in certain program areas being located in Amsterdam rather than sending people back and forth all day long from Fonda to Amsterdam. We opened up that satellite office and also, you know, reduced our need here at the Broadway office when we look to redo this building. We've been very proactive with labor management, resolving potential grievances before they got there. And we've been doing a good job with that. Even things like the new employee orientation process, a lot of you might not know, but previously orientations were done one at a time by Caroline in the office, you know, and now we started doing them in groups, and it saves quite a bit of time, and it is also much more efficient. And again, you're going to see it probably, I'm thinking about 10 policies next month for that we've been working on with internally, and we talked to Tom about for everything from travel to being open after hours policy, a lot of these things. So there's very clear expectations for employees, and everybody knows the rules of the game, so that they know what to follow. It's hard to hold people accountable when they haven't been told exactly what the rules are. So we're looking forward to talking with you guys about that next month. Another big improvement, we had one part-time safety officer. When I got here, we moved to a more team approach. We have a risk management employee safety committee that's making a tremendous amount of progress. Very, very impressive stuff with what they've been doing. We just did our active shooter training recently, and we're working on an emergency plan for all county buildings. When threats come in, you know, there's no clear plan right now of how to handle those threats. Do you lock down? Do you lock out? What do you do? Having a plan in place to deal with that, so it's very clear what the communication lines are, who's supposed to do what. We're working on that right now. That might be for May for you guys. We did a property general liability assessment of all county offices. We're meeting all of our trainings, mandates. We have a workplace violence assessment team. We've formed a subcommittee specifically for DPW and any safety issues that the employees have. We have an ongoing safety assessment of the county buildings and our compliance with recommendations. We have a workplace violence program assessment and training that we do every year, amongst many other things. But the nice thing about this committee is we've been pulling in a lot of free help. So whether it's our insurance broker, our insurance carriers, our workers' comp company that we deal with, we're bringing all these free services together rather than going out and paying someone to do it, which has been a very smart move. I'm very proud of this group. All right, let's see here. Come on, baby. We're almost at the end anyway. There we go. Oh, so then county comes to town. So obviously I'm going to be very busy over the next couple months. I'm going to every town and village in the county and doing this presentation, obviously in a little more detail and a little bit slower, but the reaction has been great. Last night really sums it up. I got done with the program in the town of Glen, and one of the board members looked to Larry Coddington and said, the only comment I have is thank you, Larry Coddington, for getting a county executive at a legislature in Montgomery County. So it's been very well received. People are happy with the work that's being done, and that certainly makes me feel good, but it's also a chance for them to communicate to us and for us to give them an update. So that's the abbreviated Cliff Notes version of the speech, and obviously if there's anything, we have to talk about it. If not, we can get on with your business. Hey, I tried. There's a lot of good things to talk about. I'm very proud of what we've been doing.
Any questions?
Sure.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I guess no questions?
I have no idea how to shut this off. That's my only question.
Pull the plug.
Yeah. All right.
You know, Matt, I want to say I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I think really it amplifies the need for the change in county government. The quantity and quality of the work, I think, demonstrates why it was a good move for the county to change to an executive. And I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks. Appreciate that very much.
Guess we got to be smarter than the street.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Bob, second, Barbara. All in favor? Very good, thank you. And thank you, Matt.